Elvis died at the Florida Barber College by Roger Dean Kiser. At 10 years old, I could not figure out what it was that this Elvis Presley guy had that the rest of us boys did not have. I mean, he had a head, 2 arms, and 2 legs, just like the rest of us. Whatever it was he had hidden away must have been pretty darn good because he had every young girl at the orphanage wrapped around his little finger. About 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, I decided to ask Eugene Corridors, one of the older boys, what it was that made this Elvis guy so special. He told me that it was Elvis' wavy hair and the way he moved his body. About a half an hour later, all the boys in the orphanage were called to the main dining room and told that we were all going to downtown Jacksonville, Florida, to get a new pair of Buster Brown shoes and a haircut. That is when I got this big idea, which hit me like a ton of bricks. If the Elvis haircut was the big secret, then that's why I'm going to get all the way to the town that was all I talked about. The Elvis haircut that I was going to get. I told everybody, including the matron from the orphanage, who was taking us to town, that I was going to look like Elvis Presley, and that I would learn to move around just like he did, and I will be rich and famous one day, just like him. I was smiling from ear to ear when I got my new Buster Brown shoes, and I was very proud as I walked around the store showing everyone. They shine really good, and I like looking at the bones in my feet through this special X-ray machine that they had in the show store that made the bones in your feet look green. I could hardly wait for my new haircut, and now that I have my new Buster Brown shoes, I will be very happy to go back to the orphanage and practice being like Elvis. We finally arrived at the big sharp barber shop, where they cut our hair for free 'cause we are orphans. I ran up to one of the barber chairs and climbed up onto the board that he put across the arms to make me sit up higher. I looked at the man and I said, I want a Elvis haircut. Can you make me a hair like Elvis? I asked him, with a great big smile on my face. Let's see what can we do for you, little man, he said. I was so happy when he started to cut my hair. He just as he started to cut my hair, the matron motioned for him to come over to where she was standing. She whispered something into my ear, and then he shook his head like he was telling no. She walked over to another man sitting in the office chair and spoke to him. Then the little man walked over and said something to the man who was cutting my hair. The next thing I knew, that the man who was cutting my hair told me that they were not allowed to give us Elvis haircuts. I saw him put the comb thing onto the end of the clippers, and then I saw all my hair falling onto the floor. When he finished shaving off all my hair and made me smell real good with this powder, he handed me a nickel and told me to go outside to the cracker machine and buy myself a candy bar. I handed him the nickel back and I told him that I was not hungry. I'm so sorry, baby, he said as I climbed out of his barber chair. I am not a baby, I said as I wiped the tears from my eyes. I sat down on the floor and brushed the hair of my new Buster Brown shoes so they would stay shiny and new. I got off the floor, brushed off my pants, of short pants, I walked towards the doors. The matron was smiling at me sort of funny like. The man who had cut my hair walked over to her and said to her, "You're just a damn bitch, lady." She yelled back real loud at him and then she walked towards the office as fast as she could. The man hit the wall with his hand and then I walked outside where he stood against the brick wall, smoking a cigarette. I slowly walked outside and stood beside him. He looked down, smiled at me, then he patted me on the top of my bald head. I looked up at him with my wet red eyes and said, "Do you know if Elvis Presley had green bones?"